name is Aphra Shemza. I'm the granddaughter of Anwar Shemza, who is currently hanging at Tate Britain with a BP spotlight display. The exhibition at Tate Britain will be running until autumn 2016, and it features a number of works from a number of different series from Shemza's career, from 1957 I think up until 1985. So there's quite a breadth of work that Shemza was producing in the UK. And here you can see various different series portrayed, exploring different themes, abstraction, calligraphy, and then roots later on in his life. On his arrival here, he was sort of searching for something new, and but also it meant that when he arrived, there was kind of trying to reconcile his East and his West, the West that he now found himself in, and his kind of Eastern influences and how he was to combine the two. When he was studying at the Slade, he was studying under Ernst Gombrich, and in a lecture that he did, he dismissed Islamic art as purely functional. And there's this great piece of writing where Shemza just he's explaining how furious he felt by this notion that Islamic art was purely functional. And he was, really kind of battling with himself. And that evening he actually destroyed all of the artwork they had produced in the UK so far, and decided to kind of begin again from the basics, so from the square and the circle. And I think that this is a huge turning point in Shemza's career, where all his kind of influences and all his compositional ideas and everything kind of gets slimmed right down. And it's throughout his career and his life and his years as he progresses that these ideas become more kind of complex and explored further. Compositions get more complex, ideas are kind of introduced, like calligraphy, and this kind of fusion of East meets West kind of comes in later on. The family, so the estate, were working with a gallery called Green Cardamom that was based here in London, and through that connection and through Hamad Nazir's connection with people at Tate, Tate became interested in Shemza's work and were broadening their collection. So at the time, some artworks were incorporated into that. So Tate are interested in kind of showing the artworks that they have in their collection and creating this kind of new dialogue with immigrant artists and art history and what that means. So there was a young curator working with Hamad called Layla Farquhar, and she then later became to work for the Tate, and then was interested in Shemza's work, and then was able to kind of formulate the idea for the display. So she and Andrew Wilson came down to see the family's collection, and we worked quite tirelessly on producing what would be a kind of great selection to introduce people to Shemza's works. I'm also an artist, following in his footsteps, and his artwork has had a great influence on me. I use abstract concepts, just like he did, but within my work I use new technologies, so it's kind of a next generation kind of take on modernism and abstraction in art. So I've been highly influenced by him, and because of the exhibition at Tate, I hope that a lot of other younger artists will be influenced by him as well. More recently, there's been this kind of reflection on not just Pakistani artists, but Asian artists and also immigrant artists that kind of came over in the sort of 50s, 60s, 70s, and what their kind of impact or influence has been in the art world. And I think that recently academics and there's this kind of re-looking at their importance. And so I think maybe less so, I think all these artists are sort of finding their rightful places in art history, be it, 20, 30 years kind of past the time when it was kind of relevant maybe for them. But I think this is really important, and it opens up a new dialogue, it creates a new new way of thinking and a kind of hopeful way of looking into the future for everybody. At the moment there aren't, but we would love to take it abroad. It would be great to tour the exhibition, and so we're looking for other venues that we could explore. So we actually work with a gallery in London. They're based in Mumbai, but we have a kind of London branch, Javeri Contemporary Gallery. So in June last year, we did a print exhibition at Gallery 1 in Kinnerton Street, and so we did an exhibition there, and it was very well received.